Hi, this is Akira. I'm a trans woman living in the Midwest. I'm making this video to discuss primarily the changes I've noticed at 1 month in on HRT, and also to discuss changes in my daily life outside of just HRT, but still relating to gender identity and expression, and also goals for the future and where I'm at right now, and a little bit more about me, more related to my job search, education, and the career that I want to work in. Changes outside of just HRT, still related to gender expression identity. Starting off with changes I've noticed 1 month into HRT. 1 month into HRT, I feel like my mental health has gotten better. I was very concerned with my body developing in the male direction, and I was feeling very dysphoric and depressed, as well as hopeless, and just stuck in a negative thought loop. And I feel like this helped pull me out of that and start to turn things around. Well, I wouldn't say everything is perfect. I would still say it's like better than before, significantly better than before, and a good step in the right direction. I feel like I'm more myself without as much background noise. I didn't really notice until it was gone. There was some sort of background anxiety every day. I didn't really notice until it was gone. There was this tension or anxiety. I don't know exactly how to put it, but it was there in the background from day to day in my day-to-day life, and I noticed that I only really noticed when it was gone, or the absence of it, that it was there in the first place and how much it was affecting me. I didn't really think that it was possible to get rid of it. Less anxiety, so less hair growth, hair growing a little, hair growing slower, less hair growth, hair growing slower, and not as much, not having to shave as often, feeling like body hair or facial hair is less thick. Something that I wasn't expecting was that my sense of smell has gotten better. I feel like I can smell things from farther away. It's almost like the volume was turned up on my sense of smell. I do also feel like my body odor might be a little different than it was before, but I'm not completely sure. I don't know. The next change might seem like TMI. I've noticed the early stages of breast development, tissue developing under the nipples, and sensitivity. So when anything bumps into them, there's a noticeable sharp pain and have to make a conscious effort not to bump into things. Also more visible through a t-shirt, which wasn't the case before. And then moving on, losing some strength, so some atrophy. I noticed that while doing push-ups, I can't do as many, like doing 15 instead of doing 20 or more. And I think that's really it for changes related to that. I do feel like it's easier to feel my emotions. And I cry more easily, but this isn't a bad thing in and of itself. I think it's made me feel I'm more present in my day-to-day life, just a more active participant in it, and not just watching somebody else live my life. Feeling like there's more nuance and a deeper range of emotions. Changes in my daily life outside of just HRT that are still related to my gender identity and expression would be things have gotten a bit better at home. I'm able to go by my preferred name, and a recent development was being able to paint my nails, which is something that was new. This is something that I didn't expect to get this far this early, but I'm glad I did, and I'm grateful for it. I think it's really helped with managing dysphoria, because it's given me a way to express myself, that my body feels more like it's a representation of who I am. Goals for the future, and the other main thing would be that I feel like I don't have to hide who I am from my family. So this has been a major plus for me of this whole journey, is that I feel like a weight has been lifted, and that I don't need to hide who I am from strangers or just my family, and it honestly reduced a lot of cognitive dissonance or tension in general, and cognitive overhead, just trying to be somebody else. Next, moving on, goals for the future, where I'm at right now, and more about me. My main interests are technology. I like to code. I have a lot to learn. I can set up new projects and read documentation, and I've started a few projects, but I still have a lot to learn, and I'm still learning about how certain language features work and what features to use in what situations. So that's I originally wanted to be a software engineer, and the reason that I decided I wanted to go into cybersecurity and IT instead was that first of all, the job market for software engineers wasn't looking so good, and Amazon stopped hiring junior developers. The job market for software engineers wasn't looking that good, and that wow. So last year I decided to get the CompTIA A+. In December last year I got it. I finished the second exam, the Core 2. I did the Core 1 in October. I've applied to a lot of IT help desk jobs since then, and there were 2 interviews that I've gotten. I would say I've applied to over 100 jobs at least, and from those 100 plus applications I've gotten, or I'd say I've applied to at least 100, and from those 100 jobs I've gotten 2 interviews, and from those 2 interviews, there was one company that was going to hire me. Things didn't work out, so I'm still looking for a job. Since then, it's been kind of dry, so I'm thinking of getting a fast food or retail job, basically just any job near me that I can find, and saving my money, buying more certifications so that I have a more impressive resume to show employers, because it seems like with just what I have, the CompTIA A+, there's a lot of other candidates that have that, and I don't stand out, or they have that and they also have experience, or they have other certifications, which is what I'm guessing. I don't know. There's also, it seems like it's just not a good job market right now, and from what I've heard from everyone. But if companies say they're hiring, I don't know. I'm confused as to why they aren't hiring, but from what I've seen, there's a lot of people who aren't still looking for jobs and having a hard time finding them even out of college. So right now I'm studying for the Network Plus, which is the next certification I'm going to get, and I've been meaning to start studying for the Security Plus as well. I need to be more consistent with studying for the Network Plus first before I study for the Security Plus. But yeah, IT, cybersecurity. So IT, I already mentioned that I was moving towards IT for cybersecurity. As time went on, I realized that I still wanted to do coding in my job, and if there was any way that I could do coding while using the IT certifications that I was going to get, because the IT certifications seemed to have a lot of industry relevance. As time went on, I realized I wanted to do coding in my job, as the IT certifications had a lot of industry relevance, so I wanted to use those as well. So the best way to do that would be to go into security, and it seems with the way that things are, with the direction the world is heading, that security is going to be in more and more demand in the future, and I want to be working in a field that's in demand, as well as I want to feel like I'm learning something new every day. That's one of my main requirements for a career that I want to, that I was going to land on. Similar to a software engineer's job, there's the feeling of satisfaction you get from solving problems. I did also start trying to make beats earlier this year. That's another hobby that I've gotten a lot of enjoyment from, and it's the one that out of all of these I feel like feels like the least work when I'm doing it, while still giving me satisfaction when I'm done. I feel like I've made some progress in making beats, but I still have a long way to go. But in this time I've learned a lot about how songs are made, like especially how important beats are to the entire song. Like they make or break a song, really. It really creates the entire mood of the song. I've written a few, you could call them like poems or rap lyrics. I'm not sure what I want to do with them, so I'm just letting them sit. I want to be able to think of a mood and make that mood exactly in a beat, or at least have beats where they have like a very specific mood and tone. So that's like the next thing I really want to learn. I started off using GarageBand, and right now I'm using Logic. Right now I'm using Logic, the most similar to GarageBand. I have a Mac, so it would run better on it with Apple's optimization. Currently I'm interested in C#, Python, and WebDev. I've done a bit of Rust as well, and I want to become proficient in that as well. I've done a bit of WebDev. I have a lot left to learn. There, but C# is similar to TypeScript, so that should help. I have some ideas for projects that I'm going to make, like a survival base building game, or a privacy focused note-taking app that would be similar to what is offered in Notion in its feature set. Any type which exists right now, I think that would be the closest to what I want to make, would be any type Tari instead of using Electron. So it would work better on low-end devices, because in general there's also a trend towards, in the software industry, making apps heavier and heavier, not really valuing computing resources as finite, that they are going to run out eventually, and Electron apps are just really heavy. I started on the note-taking app. For the game, I've started on the note-taking app, but for the game I need to figure out a solution for assets for it, like learning Blender. That's still going to take some time, and I'd still have to learn the game engine that I would want to use. That was the video. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked, remember to leave a like and subscribe for future content. My name is Akira. Have a good day.